There was a public hearing on Saturday, November 14th, 2009. Massachusetts Air National Guard wants to lower its training altitude from 7,000 feet to 500 feet in western Maine.
From the National Guard Bureau, we have Harry, the independent group that basically work the draft EIS. And we have Major Lippert, who is also representing the National Guard Bureau.
This afternoon's public hearing is the 5th public forum to provide the public with an opportunity to comment on the findings for the draft EIS. Also, the formal public comment period on the draft EIS ends January 1st, 2010.
I'm here today to serve as an independent public hearing officer regarding the draft EIS.
I don't work for the governor. I'm publicly elected by the legislature. I don't always agree with the governor, but on this matter I concur with the governor, and in his letter submitted yesterday to the Air National Guard, where he said, I continue to assert the questions raised in my prior correspondence that strongly suggest more work needs to be done. I wish to register my opposition to this proposal, the governor says. So do I.
For you to do this to us after this long struggle, for us to get an economic base and to begin crawling out of this abject poverty that our people have lived in for the past 200 years is obscene. So I respectfully request that our property in that particular area be omitted from this plan and preserved as it should be for the benefit of the Penobscot Nation and its people.
The future looks promising, but the proposal from the Air National Guard for Condor flights would dash our dreams for successful economic development based on our serene, pristine environment and our way of life. We stand in opposition to this proposal.
Massachusetts Air National Guard's idea of allowing low-level training flights over our region was a terrible idea when it was first proposed in 1991 and 1992, and it's just as terrible an idea now.
This EIS does not meet the criteria to prove there would be no significant impact on the High Peaks region. The impact would be devastating to our economy, ecology, and quality of place. The Sandy River Land Trust endorses this position.
Investors, retirees, and second home buyers are discretionary buyers, unlike primary home buyers who are connected to our region because of employment. They do not have to buy property in a specific region and can alternately go somewhere else like Vermont, New Hampshire, or the Maine coast.
The Air National Guard on noise in the proposal states that there will be no significant effect. You claim noise levels would compare to a lawnmower. The data on noise is presented in average noise levels over a 24-hour period. The EIS drafted in early 1992 on the same proposal stated that the noise from a plane flying at 500 feet is 102 decibels. This draft now states the aircraft noise at that same elevation at 65.
Noise is defined as unwanted sound. There is no piece of equipment, no digital or fancy instrument that can measure noise. And yet, in your document and other documents, including the NEPA definitions, noise generally is referred to in decibels of sound pressure.
In addition, there is no noise data for F-18s that already have triggered calls to 9/11, or for the F-35, which would likely replace the aging F-15. F-15 was grounded past year for structural problems. It's like an old pickup truck. It gets so far, you don't put any more money into it. So don't tell me it's a hypothetical to say the F-35 might fly up here. Oh, by the way, the F-35's 9 decibels louder. In logarithmic terms, twice as loud. It's not listed in here. All of the airplanes, the P-3, gone. KC-135, not likely. Show me the F-18, show me the F-22, show me the F-35, show me their noise data.
Want versus need. The Air National Guard needs to train pilots. I have no objection to that, no question about it. The Air Guard wants to train pilots over Maine for several reasons. You've made them pretty clear, I'm going to repeat them. We, the residents of Western Maine, need, as opposed to want, need our quiet, minimal intrusion, nearly uncluttered sky, and the economic monetary injection that comes to us specifically due to this quiet.
The EIS proposal would allow random flight by F-15s doing intercept training at altitudes from 500 feet above the ground to in excess of 10,000 feet. So civilian pilots would not know where they are, where they would encounter F-15s going 500 miles an hour, 400 miles an hour faster than them in most cases. Any claim of radio advisories or onboard radar to provide aircraft separation is wishful thinking. The safety claim by General Wyatt is made because less time would, in theory, be spent by F-15s at low altitude. Okay. That's like saying it's safer to drive 90 miles an hour on the highway than 60 because you spend less time there. At this time, and for the public record, I am calling for FAA field hearings to review this EIS to be held in Augusta. These hearings would allow subject matter experts and local residents to cross-examine the content of the proposal section by section under oath for all to see, giving legitimacy to the process. You've heard the term rubber stamp. This is how you throw out the rubber stamp. They need to come here, they need to face us face to face, under oath in cross-examination.
And we are left with nothing but tourism, whether we want it or not, and we have to defend that last bit of piece of the pie that we have.
Has the decision by the final adjudicating body already been reached?
Sir, no, the decision has not been made. We are a conduit for information to the decision.
These guys will deny the fact they're not the ones that make the decision. They just are in a cooperating agency by memorandum agreement with the FAA. Hand in glove the whole way. The train has left the station. The only way to stop it is to get these hearings.
We found, for instance, that there have been serious fires created during exercises, such as the one in the New Jersey Pinelands that consumed 10,000 acres of pristine nature preserve. What are the definitions of Class A and Class B mishaps? Mishaps, in case people don't know, is an Air Force term. It is characterized by a loss of life, permanent total disability, destroyed aircraft, or greater than $1 million in damages.
That's a mishap.
That's a mishap.
You cannot equate medium altitude, refueling, and air-to-air intercepts in a somewhat benign, sterile environment to the operations and the mishap rates that will occur at low altitude in a very intense high to low intercept regime with low altitude defensive maneuvering. That mishap rate is not the same. That mishap rate is not covered in the report.
Fighter jets doing this training have historically had accidents in this area. An F-101B that crashed after mid-air collision with a squadron mate lies on top of Mount Abram, just 3 miles from the regional high school. A T-33 F-102 mid-air collision put both airplanes into Flagstaff Lake. A KC-97 sits atop a mountain in Newry. Remains of a jettisoned full B-52 fuel tank corroded in the woods of Madrid, Maine. No effort has ever been made to clean up these crash sites. The environmental impact is reason enough to stop the change to Condor. Since the EIS did not consider the real accident history in the area, the EIS did not meet criteria to prove there would be no significant impact.
Our opposition is based on what this would do to the livestock industry. And this will affect 4 different counties. But, as you know, Franklin, Oxford, Piscataquis, and Somerset counties. There are 1,062 livestock farms. This includes dairy, beef, horse operations. Those farms contribute $26 million annually in sales. These farms collectively own 17,178 beef, 7,993 dairy cows, 2,467 horses.
My horses, when I work with them, respond to my faintest whisper. The startle effect on flight animals from an F-15 blasting over my backyard at 500 feet will create a kind of chaos I don't even dare to imagine.
An F-15, when it goes into afterburner mode, burns 4 gallons a second.
Where so many people from Maine and beyond come to enjoy what we call the way life should be. Just like our timber and our water, our airspace, and more importantly, our low-level airspace is a resource. What this low-level flight plan amounts to is a taking of that resource. It's a taking in the truest legal meaning of that word. It is a taking of a vital economic resource.
It is premature and presumptive of the Guard to submit an EIS at this time, asking the public, local, state, and federal government entities to make decisions based on this incomplete and inaccurate EIS document will result in ill-informed decision-making from this point. I request the FAA initiate and support efforts to compel the Guard to withdraw the currently proposed Condor modification project in EIS.
I'm not convinced yet why these maneuvers need to take place here in Western Maine as opposed to Western Massachusetts, and just have to say, go buzz the Berkshires, guys.